3 weeks ago, I did a video, and the title was something like this: Does reliance on AI, artificial intelligence, lead to brainless young people? I am coming back on this the second time because I think I should speak on the state of play now, because in these past 3 weeks or something like that, the rapidity with which things are moving is something that I have noted. That isn't very surprising to me, because in the space of AI use in education, that's what it was all about last time, mainly. Companies and business have moved in, and therefore they all want to seize the market share, be the first to offer products against the background of the worries that academicians, professors are having about this whole technology's harmful effect on the process of learning and critical thinking. So they say, don't worry, we are there with bespoke products suited for you, taking care of your anxieties. What's more, we can partner with you in education. Now, wow, all this, is the sales pitch. I do not want to say more on that, because sales pitch and profits and market share and being the first one with a product and all that do not mix too well with the process of education. It's so very different. I will leave it at that, but that explains the rapidity with which things are going, which means rapid uptake of AI and its widespread, ubiquitous use, particularly in the United States. Now, you'll ask, what about India and all that? Come on, Indian universities and their degrees and all that, it's another subject. But I'll put it in this one sentence. While there have been lots of studies by academics, professors and things like that, because of their genuine anxiety, there's been nothing here. 4.3 crores of students are in the universities. We are the second largest country, having the second largest university population in the country. 30% of our graduates are unemployed because they are unemployable. All that is another state of our education and its connection with employment. Now, what I said, I would leave it with one sentence, and that is, we don't seem to care, and that is what it is. But let me get on to this thing, because this is nothing connected exclusively to the USA. This is about the human brain, and the human brain and how AI impacts on the human brain, and especially the critical thinking faculty of the brain, and whether it was going to lead to the brain becoming flabby and pretty useless, in the sense. That's why I said brainless young people last time. That is not anything confined to India. It is confined to the to the reliance on AI in education, and for that matter, even in business and things like that, in companies, because there is the brain. I should be able to clarify my ideas a little bit as I go along. So, what is the state of play now? First, I noticed that there is a rapid uptake of AI and its ubiquitous use by students in various universities. And of course, it is also outside universities, everywhere that goes on. More than a quarter of the prompts that have gone into leading LLM, ChatGPT, are all for educational purposes. So that is how it is, all the prompts. And it is from various surveys and studies, it's becoming clear that students are using the technology to do their entire work, their entire research work for them. So this is the thing. The entire work, not just here and there something to help them or as a tool to have the entire work done for them. There is evidence that there is plagiarism, and a plagiarism of a crafty kind, of a clever kind, where plagiarism lifted from various texts and things like that are added on with a software, word spinner, to change the order and the language so that it looks different. So we are reaching a stage where students and others who are using the AI are using it entirely for the entire process, reliance on the entire process. In fact, the prompts to some of those LLMs say that they do not want back and forth. They want the entire thing to be done and given to them. And then they also add, give it a spin so that it looks different. So that is the state of play. There is evidence to prove that. So it is in this situation where professors are grappling with this thing, all kinds of things happening, because certainly they are devoted to, professors are devoted to education, and when they see this happening, they have to devise something to see that this is not growing, not as a system, but college by college. I was reading that there is in a New York institution which is regarded very highly, the professor has set up, has put in a live camera where the one who is presenting the paper, whatever it is, the work, has to defend that paper, what he or she has written, live before his peers and before professors. The idea is that if you are relying on AI, as I told you last time, you don't have authorship. Something comes and something goes. That just floats in like a mass. It comes in, it goes out. Your brain isn't there. You haven't gone through the processes, the hard work of thinking, hard and joyful work of thinking, because suddenly you get that, this is it, that kind of thing. That eludes them when they are asking the LLM to give them the whole stuff, completely made. Don't ask questions, just give me the whole stuff, and then put a spin and the word and the order and things like that, so that the words are all changed. It looks a little informal or smart or whatever. So, it is in this scenario where professors are concerned about the impact of AI, the reliance on AI, on the learning process, on the critical thinking process, that all these companies have moved in saying, don't worry, we will give you products that will suit these people. The latest is that this has already come in, a company has offered to give the university a custom built AI chat bot that acts as a personal tutor all the way. So, things are becoming pretty simple. You do not have to put in any effort. You have a customized chat bot which is acting as a tutor. It has come to that. This is the state of play. Now, we will have to think beyond the state of play and ask ourselves the connection between AI and critical thinking in a wider context. We should not be running with this business model. We should sit back and think what it is all about, and the work, tremendous amount of work that has gone into this thing by professors. And therefore, in this wider context, we are moving out of the university onto a bigger space. It is the reliance on AI and its impact on what it does to critical thinking. I refer to a study by Professor Michael Gerlich, professor at Swiss Business School. Now, he asked 660 individuals in Britain of various ages. When I say various ages, please remember, they are right up to 50, 60 age. The variety in the age groups. He asked 666 individuals. Remember, in the first video I spoke about 54 participants at school writing an essay. This is a bigger one, he wanted to check. And he is one of many who are studying this thing with concern because they care. He asked 666 individuals in Britain of various ages and asked them how much they used AI and whether they trusted and all that. So, he had that information for the study, and Professor Gerlich posed questions to them based on a widely used critical thinking assessment. And the result was this: participants who made more use of AI scored a significantly lower across the board in the published study. This is what it is. So, we would have to think about this far removed from the rapidity and the madding crowd of these people who are offering various things for educational purposes. They say tailor-made for education, bespoke products and all that. We would have to think, we would have to think of the larger issues. And that is really my subject. And in this matter, Professor Ivan Risko, professor of psychology at the University of Waterloo, working with his colleague Sam Gilbert, coined the term cognitive offloading to describe how people shrug off difficult or tedious mental tasks to external aids. Shrug it off. This thing of shrugging off all these tedious mental tasks to external aids. The worry, explains Dr. Risco, is that generative AI allows one to offload a much more complex set of processes than simply offloading some mental arithmetic or some exercise, which is very limited, which has only a narrow set of application. Offloading a thought process itself. Let me repeat, offloading a thought process itself, like problem solving or writing or something born out of critical thinking. This is the concern, that the risk of such cognitive offloading is in effect delegating thinking itself to technology. No thinking required, give it to technology. Delegating thinking itself to technology. This is the real danger. And although definitive conclusions have not been reached, this is something very serious matter. What is happening therefore there is that users, including students, increasingly turn to AI as a substitute for higher order skills, those that require complex judgment such as analysis or creation. These things are higher order skills. The users of AI increasingly turn to AI as a substitute for these higher order skills. I hope you're following the seriousness of the issue. And once the brain has developed a taste for offloading, it can be a hard habit to kick. It's habit forming. The tendency to seek the least effortful way to solve a problem, known as cognitive miserliness. I will only do this much. I want to leave the other. Cognitive miserliness could create what Dr. Gerlach describes as a feedback loop. As AI-reliant individuals find it harder to think critically, their brains may become more miserly, which would lead to further offloading. So we are reaching a stage where the brain may mean nothing. They will not know to solve any problem without AI. That is how my first video, I thought now, in retrospect, was a good heading: brainless young people. Brainless. because if you are offloading this and reaching a stage of cognitive miserliness, then it means that your brain has stopped functioning or being useful. Brainless. So this is the situation we face, and I would want all of us who are viewers to ponder over this, and that's the purpose of this video. This is not a phenomenon, this is a study of cognitive offloading and cognitive miserliness. Do all of that. That is something which we all should be thinking about. And of course, academics in various universities are thinking, the professors are thinking, because this is education. I would conclude my talk this way. It is very critical that students and others, all those who think, make connections and understand larger integrative concepts and not just regurgitate facts. The evidence so far points to a predominant connection between the AI users and weakened brains. That is there. Careless deployment of these tools in schools, universities, is actually more harmful than not doing anything at all. This is the view taken by Professor Bastani, Professor of Operations at the well-known Wharton School, part of the University of Pennsylvania. You are better off just taking your traditional methods than throwing a bunch of money at AI. There is also some anxiety among professors, academicians, that students are being made guinea pigs for the AI pilots taking place before the impact of the technology on learning is fully known. And that is the stage now. The thing is no different even for companies who are looking forward to the possible productivity gains from greater adoption of AI. There could be a sting in the tail. Long-term critical thinking decay would likely result in reduced competitiveness. Prolonged AI use could make employees less creative. So it's not something only for universities, because we are tampering with brain power. These employees may think less creatively. So these are some of the conclusions that come out of all this. Don't rush into this AI. The human brain is still the sharpest tool in the toolbox. Both consumers of AI, regulators of AI, I'm leaving the business people out, I mean those people who are selling AI, will have to assess whether its use comes with a huge cost that makes people less intelligent.